Evening, people. I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are having a blessed evening. Today, I want to talk about Hakim Ziyech. I want to talk about his situation. I did do a video a couple of days ago that discussed the injury, the outcome of the transfer. I'm going to be giving you a little bit more details in regards to the situation that he's currently in, and also some of the options that he has moving forward, and options that we have as a club moving forward in dealing with his situation. Before we continue though, lads, do me a favor, smash that like button on this video, help the channel, help the video, and if you're new, subscribe. And if you do subscribe, turn that bell notification button on. I would very much appreciate it. Now, let's talk about Hakim Ziyech. So lads, we know he has two injuries or two issues, two physical issues that kind of collapsed the deal, that kind of hindered his transfer to Al Nassr. In the medical, it was identified that he has a knee problem and he has a problem with his hip. And those two issues reflected negatively on the transfer. Al Nassr did decide to continue with the transfer. They did offer him a reduced contract, a 40% reduction on the salary that they had already agreed with him. The transfer fee was the same. It was still going to be around £8 million, I believe, for the transfer. But Al Nassr were going to give Hakim Ziyech a reduced contract by 40%, and Hakim Ziyech was not happy about that. And it seems like he has declined that offer. Now, what options do we have in respect to Hakim Ziyech? What options does Hakim Ziyech have moving forward? Well, there has been a couple of stories that have come out today that indicates a couple of clubs are interested in him, even with his current situation. I'm going to show you the two articles in a second. Before we do that, let's just talk a little bit about what the medical actually shows. The medical doesn't actually show injuries specifically. It shows issues with the player's physique, with the player's ability. So the fact that his knee was identified as an issue doesn't mean that he has a knee injury. It means his knee is weak, which means he isn't going to be able to function the way that you'd expect him to function. His hip, that's going to affect his mobility. That's going to affect his movement. So these two issues are not necessarily injuries, but they're possibly constraints. Does that mean that it's going to be problematic? It may not be problematic right now, but it could be something that will develop, in the near future. And this is why, clubs would look at this with a little bit of hesitancy because, it's something that could end up being long-term. It could be something that is a career ending situation. If it's aggravated further, it could be a career-ending issue. And this is why, clubs like Al Nassr and other clubs might look at this as being a bit of a problematic situation. That being said, I did tell you there's two clubs that could be keen on signing Hakim Ziyech. And this is the two clubs, and this is the two articles. The first one is Goodison News reported that Everton have targeted Hakim Ziyech and have been keen to sign Hakim Ziyech in the past. Now, the fact that he is no longer desired by Chelsea Football Club, the fact that the Chelsea Football Club were, looking to offload him for £8 million. £8 million is a fee that Everton could, comfortably put up for a player like Hakim Ziyech, and this is something that could happen. Everton could come in for Hakim Ziyech, and they could sign him, even with those two issues that have been identified. I mean, I'm guessing they will do their own medical just to see how severe these issues are. But Everton are a team that is interested in Hakim Ziyech, and they're not the only team that is interested in Hakim Ziyech. There's another one. So the other club is in Italy, and it's Roma. Roma also seem to be interested in Hakim Ziyech, and they have been monitoring the move for Hakim Ziyech to Al Nassr. And the fact that this move has also collapsed could be a sign that they would come in for the player and potentially sign Hakim Ziyech for the fee of £8 million. So there are options, lads. And these two options that I've just shown you are only two of, I think, many that will transpire over the next days and weeks. If Hakim Ziyech does not take the contract with Al Nassr, if Hakim Ziyech is not happy with the reduction in the fee that he has been, the reduction in the salary that he has been offered, there are alternatives and there are other options. Hakim Ziyech, in my opinion, will be moving on. Will be moving on unless Pochettino decides that he can utilize the player and wants the player to stay, and maybe the injury situation is not as severe as it was made out by Al Nassr, and Hakim Ziyech is in Pochettino's plans. No indications that that is the case at the moment, so I don't think that is the case. But Hakim Ziyech does have other options. He can move to the continent. He can move within the Premier League. I'm sure there is a lot of clubs in the Premier League that would be looking at his fee of £8 million and thinking, you know what, we can do a lot worse than Hakim Ziyech for his experience, for his ability. Yes, he does have those two niggling issues, but how severe are they? Could we do our own medical? Could we assess ourselves and see how severe the situation is? So I think Hakim Ziyech, his situation is not as bleak as it has been made out by a few journalists. I think people were talking about career-ending situation. I don't think it's a career-ending situation unless the player does decide to retire and move on to other things apart from play of football. But I don't think that is the case with Hakim Ziyech. I think he still has a few years in him. And there are other options for the player, and I think he will find a solution and he will take it. If not with Chelsea, he will move on and potentially in Europe. But anyway, lads, I just wanted to give you this video and just to explain to you the whole situation with Hakim Ziyech as it stands. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have done, smash that like button. I'd very much appreciate it. Look, there has been other developments in regards to, Pochettino is his first day today. We did see a few players depart the club since our last video. We did see a few players arrive at the club since our last video, most notably Nicholas Jackson. So Nicholas Jackson is now our striker, unless we find a more, a more cultured, a more experienced striker. And, let's talk about Harry Kane. I don't see that happening, but there is talks about, other strikers that Chelsea could be looking into. But at the moment, we do have Nicholas Jackson, and I want to wish him all the best with us and hope that he can provide us with some, moments to cheer about when he puts that ball in the back of the net a few times this season. Anyway, lads, that is it for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves and peace out.